Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're taking a really different look at semaglutide and weight loss. We want to get past that whole magic pill idea
Right.
and explore a perspective that sees this less as just a medical thing and more as a deeply human experience. So our mission really is to unpack the insights from what's called the Dan Hollis Semaglutide Manifesto and, other reflections on his work. We're trying to figure out what makes his approach so different. Why does it connect so strongly with people who've frankly struggled with weight for years?
Yeah, and what's really fascinating, I think, is how Hollis frames it. It's not just about what the drug does, it's about what it allows, how this medication can actually open up a window for real self-discovery, maybe even transformation, not just a quick fix. So it's about the space it creates.
That idea of space that feels key right away.
That's it.
Hollis has this core idea. It really makes you pause. This is not a drug journey. It's a human one. He stresses that, okay, semaglutide, powerful tool, no doubt, but only if you get its real impact, like how it changes the brain's relationship with hunger, with satisfaction, even a reward.
Mhm.
He says it can be freeing, but also kind of terrifying. Why terrifying? What's that about?
Well, terrifying because it puts the responsibility back on you in a way. Hollis has this great line, semaglutide doesn't fix you, it gives you space to fix yourself. Think of it like a carpenter. You get amazing wood, great tools. They don't build a house for you, right? They just make it possible if you're ready to pick up a hammer and do the work.
Ah, okay.
And the scary part, maybe realizing the old excuses like, I just need more willpower, maybe they weren't the whole story. Now the biological noise is quieter. You actually have to face the underlying stuff. And, well, do the work.
And what work that is. That brings up another huge point Hollis makes, one that really pushes back against, everything we've been told. He says, willpower was never the problem. No, for anyone listening who's been on diet after diet, that's a massive statement. It kind of flips the script.
Totally flips the script.
So if willpower wasn't it, what was the problem according to him? And how does knowing that change things for someone who feels like they've failed?
His argument is pretty compelling. He says, look, you weren't failing because you lacked willpower. You were up against like a stacked deck. Your biology, these deep emotional habits, these loops, they're incredibly hard to fight with just grit.
Right.
What actually helps, he argues, isn't trying harder in the same old way. It's insight, it's structure, it's using tools that actually work with your biology, not against it. It's about understanding the whole system.
Which connects directly to this idea of emotional weight. If it's not willpower and biology plays a huge role, then it makes sense there's more going on than just the physical pounds. Hollis is really clear. This is emotional weight as much as it is physical weight.
Yeah.
So many people eat because of anxiety or loneliness, boredom, maybe just feeling overwhelmed or unsupported. It's not always about physical hunger.
Exactly. And he talks about emotional hunger in such a poignant way. He says something like, emotional hunger sounds like a craving, but it's actually a question, a need asking to be seen.
Wow.
Semaglutide is powerful because it dials down the physical static,
Yeah.
that constant biological urge. Suddenly it's quieter. And in that quiet, you can finally hear those emotional signals. But here's the catch.
Okay.
The drug doesn't solve the emotional hunger. It just makes space so you can address it. Often what we're really looking for in the kitchen isn't food. It's, I don't know, connection,
Yeah.
comfort, some kind of clarity.
Yeah, that makes sense. So when food isn't playing that role anymore, that emotional crutch,
Yeah.
you can feel kind of exposed.
Exposed, vulnerable, yeah.
Yeah. But Hollis doesn't frame it as failure. He calls it wisdom misdirected. Like your body was just trying to cope, trying to find a way to soothe itself, even if it wasn't the best long-term strategy.
Precisely. It reframes it completely, takes the shame out.
Which leads to this other really stark point he makes. When the cravings stop, the truth begins. Think about it. For lots of people, food was the schedule, the rhythm of the day, the main coping mechanism. Take that away and yeah, you might feel lost. Maybe even a sense of grief or disorientation.
Absolutely. That truth can be unsettling. It's the reality of what you were using food for. And this is exactly why Hollis insists on support, community. He says it so directly. Most people don't fail because the medication doesn't work. They fail because they were alone.
Alone. That's powerful.
Yeah. Support isn't just nice to have, he argues. It's what he calls neurobiological scaffolding.
Neurobiological scaffolding. Okay, unpack that.
It's the new rituals, the routines, the people, the structure. Everything that helps you stay steady when your internal chemistry is shifting or when those old emotional triggers pop up again. You're literally building new pathways, new architecture in your brain. You need support for that construction project.
Okay, shifting gears a bit. Let's talk about the weight loss itself. Hollis warns about the trap of losing weight too fast. We've all heard about that, maybe experienced it. You drop pounds quickly, then bam, plateau. Or worse, regain.
Right, the yo-yo effect.
He explains that super fast loss, if it's not paced right metabolically, can actually slow your metabolism down, you lose muscle. It sets you up for worse results long term.
Mm-hmm.
So how does his focus on sustainable pacing change the long game? For someone maybe excited by quick results initially.
It changes everything because it's focused on what happens after the initial phase. He knows the scale can move fast, but the body and mind need time to adjust, to truly adapt. So it's about building nutritional habits, movement habits that you can actually live with, protecting muscle, keeping the metabolism healthy, which ties right into another really deep insight he has. Your body changes faster than your identity.
Ooh, say more about that. Body changes faster than your identity.
Well, think about it. You lose the weight, maybe significantly, but inside, you might still feel like the person you were before. The habits, the self-perception, they lag behind.
Right, I can see that.
This is where the real work often starts, after the medication has done its main job on appetite. The challenge isn't just getting the weight off, it's integrating that change into who you are, staying there.
So how do you tackle that gap? If your body's different, but your head hasn't caught up? Hollis must talk about this. Why is planning for the after phase so important right from the start? To stop those old patterns creeping back in.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because if you haven't done that identity work, if you haven't built new coping mechanisms, new ways of thinking about yourself, then when the medication support lessens or stops, those old neural pathways, they're still there, ready to fire back up.
Makes sense.
So he really pushes this idea of like future-proofing. You're not just on a diet, you're actively building a new relationship with food, yes, but also with yourself, your body, your future. It needs to be sustainable from the inside out, building habits that last longer than the injections.
He really sums that up powerfully, almost poetically. Weight loss is biology. Staying there is narrative.
Yeah, that's a great line.
Success isn't just about the scale. It's about rewriting your story, your internal narrative, preventing a relapse into confusion about who you are now, not just preventing the hunger from coming back.
It's deep work.
It really is. And throughout all this, what really comes through, for me at least, is his constant message of empathy, self-compassion. He just states it plainly. There is no shame here, only process.
Yeah.
Why is getting rid of that shame so critical? So many people carry so much guilt about weight. How does this approach challenge that?
It's huge because it shifts the focus. It says, look, you aren't broken. You weren't lazy or undisciplined. You were often dealing with complex biology you didn't understand, maybe emotional stuff, and let's be honest, a culture that kind of profits from keeping people confused about weight and health.
Yeah, that's true.
So this whole approach, it's less a strict prescription and more an invitation to a different kind of conversation.
Yeah.
A better relationship with food, sure, but also with your own body and with guides who actually get it. It's about having a map, finding a guide, being part of a community. And like he says, it's not just about eating less.
It's about living more.
Exactly.
Living more.
It feels empowering, honestly, this idea that you're not starting over from scratch again. You're starting right. Aligning yourself with tools that actually match how your body and brain function and doing it with people who understand. Getting away from shame, moving towards alignment. That feels like a real shift. It is a shift.
So wrapping up our deep dive today, it seems like Dan Hollis's perspective on semaglutide is, well, it's a genuine paradigm shift, isn't it?
I think so.
It moves way beyond just suppressing appetite. It's about this holistic journey, self-discovery, dealing with the emotional side, transforming identity, and crucially, doing it with that scaffolding, that community support. It's a whole new lens on a conversation many of us have been stuck in for a long time.
Absolutely. Which leads to maybe a final thought for you listening right now. Thinking about Hollis's ideas. What personal scaffolding maybe, or what narrative might you need to build in your own life, not even just about weight or medication, but for any kind of lasting, meaningful change you want to make? What support structures, what stories do you need? Something to think about.